Oh, yeah. I had to work today.
I actually did work today, just at my house.
Okay.
I didn't, but I don't work anymore.
Oh, good for you. Hey, Bob.
Hello,
Hey, Bob.
Is there a delay on that?
Yeah, I'm on YouTube.
I didn't work today.
Good for you.
One of the advantages of
Places with you.
being retired.
Wow. What a turnout. Holy crap. Susan, you see Anshel, right?
I'm actually getting us onto YouTube. Give me just a second.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, though. I will get her. Okay.
There you go. Sure, you made it.
There you are.
I look so dark. I don't have any lights behind me.
Talk or am I-
I don't need to talk. Sitting over here.
I'm not. It's Steve's show. It's the Steve Calabini show.
That's funny.
Are we ready?
Uh-huh.
You have everybody here?
It's good to be here.
Almost.
Well, we got a quorum. We can get going. All right, let me share my screen. That work?
No.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go. Yay.
Okay. All right. Parks and Recreation Commission, Town of Georgetown, special meeting Thursday, February 21st, 2022, 6 p.m. Virtual meeting due to COVID-19. Notice and agenda for regular meeting. This meeting is by conference call only. The town hall will not be open to the public for this meeting. Parks and Recreation Commission will attend this meeting electronically as permitted by the Open Meetings Law. Meetings can be watched live via www.townofgeorgetown.us. Go to government, then recordings of meetings. These meetings are also archived on the website. If you'd like to leave a comment, please call 303-569-2555, extension 2, or email townclerk@townofgeorgetown.us. We will give you details regarding the meeting. Agenda. Call to order. Roll call. Chairman Steve Calabini here. Vice Chairman Tom Paxton.
Here, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Here.
Yes. Members, Beth Luther,
Here,
Daniel Owen, Brady Scott, Anshel Baumberger,
Here,
Rob Connell,
Here,
and Mary Bernal.
here.
Agenda approval.
I'll move to approve the agenda for Monday, February 21st as presented.
I
I
second
second
that.
it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, agenda approved. Minutes approval.
I'll move to approve the minutes of January 6, 2022 as presented.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, minutes approved.
Aye.
Audience business. Members of the audience will have 5 minutes to present any matter of concern to the commission. No official action may be taken at this time. Those viewing on television may phone in comments to 303-569-2555, extension 2. Old new business. I'm not sure if Kevin's here for Parks Tech report. So we'll move on that one. Any update on the Parks Master Plan? DMH final approval?
Not that I know of.
Me neither.
Mm-mm.
And the reason why we're here is for the Strauss Park refresh. With that, I can turn over to Bob.
Thanks, Steve. We did have a meeting with the business promotions and with the DRC to get their input on what direction we should head. But I don't want to influence you guys at all. So I'll tell you what their decisions were after our discussion. There's primarily one thing that I would like to get out of this meeting so we can move forward. And we came up with 2 options for the shelter design. And we're only really talking the shelter within Strauss Park, which is what we feel we can afford financially for 2022. So we're looking at replacing the shelter. We could replace it per the DHM design with some changes in materials. Or we could go ahead with a somewhat different design that very closely parallels the existing shelter in Strauss Park, which is the L-shaped design. The difference, let me go through the difference in materials. We had the earlier meeting back in January where we looked at some ways to cut down the overall cost. And the decisions that came out of that, which everybody pretty much has agreed to, is that we would delete we would substitute an architectural shingle roof, like a 50-year asphalt shingle roof with a standing seam metal roof. That'll reduce costs significantly. When the metal roof goes away, the snow guard goes away, the ice melt system goes away, the gutters and downspouts go away. The structure itself, we would substitute rough sawn Douglas fir timbers. We go to a smaller size on the post, 6x6, which is what we presently have in the shelters that are down there. In 6x10 beams, rather than the 8x8 beams that DHM was proposing. The 6x10 beams are a little beefier than what's down there now. The wall framing would be, DHM had wall framing at 2x6s. We would go with 2x4s, but we would go with horizontal girts, so we could apply the siding vertically rather than horizontally. Roof rafters, we go with, they were using standard 2x6s on 16-inch centers. We would like to go with 4x8s on 4-foot centers, if we can make that work structurally, and I don't have an answer to that yet, but we're going to proceed in that direction since that that would be the most expensive. If we can't do 4x8s on 4-foot centers, we could drop back to 2x8s on 8-foot centers. That would give us the look we're looking for. The roof decking, we like to go with the 2x6 tongue and groove roof decking rather than 3/4 inch plywood, so that when you look up from the bottom of the shelter or from underneath the shelter, you see a nice finished ceiling with hopefully 4x8 timbers supporting it. The wall coverings, we would go with something very similar to what's there now rather than the horizontal lap siding. See, the DHM was proposing cedar lap siding, which is quite a bit more expensive. We go with 1x8 rough sawn pine or fir boards applied vertically like the current shelter, or possibly even go with a shiplap, which gives you a flat surface so you can hang stuff on the back of the shelter and put shelves there and all that. And then on the outside, we go with 1x10 board and bat, which is very similar to what we have there now. Timber connectors, we go with, they had custom fabricated powder coated black connectors. We go with commercially available, either Simpson or Osco decorative type black connectors for the post base, the T at where the posts tie into the beam and so forth. So all the metal connectors that would be used would all be, they'd all be black. I've assumed in the estimates that we would go with either a painted or stained. I think stained would be probably a better thing than painted, but 2 coats of some kind of a sealer and color to be decided later as to what we actually finish the materials. And all exposed material, everything you'd see would be coated. The ceiling inside the shelter, the rafters, the beams, obviously the siding, all that. The booth widths would typically be 8 feet wide and 8 feet deep. And we would have removable, configurable partitions going front to back, but nothing across the front. So the counter across this front would go away, and that would apply to both. Well, all this really applies to both configurations. That's pretty much it for materials. One thing that came out and was highly favored at the DRC meeting was that we should endeavor to find a way to bring the flagstone paving that's in the plaza all the way into the booths. That was widely accepted. We're probably going to look at going in that direction. I've had some discussions with a structural engineer, and it looks like the foundation, the 6-inch thick concrete foundation, would need that. We can't reuse the one that's there now because current code would drive us to getting below the frost depth for the piers. So we're looking at putting piers, regular concrete footers, 4 feet deep, 42 inches deep, under the posts, 12 inches in diameter, something like that. And then we're currently looking at putting a grade beam across the back near Niesel and Anderson using screw piles, which are a metal pile that literally screws into the ground. And I've got a structural engineer who's thinking about that right now, and I'm going to meet Thursday or Friday of this week with a screw pile company out of Breckenridge and get their take on what they thought there. That would be very minimal disturbance of the area around the Niesel and Anderson building. I don't know what the costs are going to come in at, but we'll look at that. But that's kind of where we're headed for the foundation across that back wall. Getting back to the DHM design, is pretty much what you've seen before on the plans that they provided. Winds up with 12 booths with a windscreen set off to the back, and then a separate shed for storage of the partitions and any other park equipment. The alternate design, which is option 2, gives us the same number of booths, but the little 2-booth section that forms the L is connected just like it is now. And we have an open passageway, and I think you could probably, I think there's a sketch in there somewhere that kind of shows the pathway, but the corner by the parking lot would have an opening, maybe 5-6 feet wide, that would always be open. And we'd be able to walk through from the plaza to the parking lot and then over to the restroom. And it would be covered. So you'd have the ability to, use that area to put up signage or inside, and it would, covered light, and have, lighting and all that good stuff. That would eliminate the need, there we go. So you can see the corridorway on that, basically a 6-foot wide corridorway from the 2 walls, the wall that says booth number 10 under it, and then the closest wall on the 2-booth side. Those would be walls that would go all the way to the ceiling. So that would be all the way up. So that whole area that would not be considered a booth, the passageway, it'd be a lighted corridorway, roughly 8 feet wide by, what's that, maybe 20 some odd feet long. And I think what we would do is, instead of having the jog where it says parking lot with a double arrow, I think we'd probably just bring that plane right out to the edge, instead of having that jog there, and just make that a little bit deeper. That just makes it a little easier for construction. Then the storage area, the existing booths have about a 2 or 3 foot deep storage area behind them. We would expand that so that it were in the order of 8 to 9 feet. So we have a nice storage workshop area that you can access from the, directly from the plaza area, from the park or the parking lot, for storage of the partitions, storage of any materials we need for maintaining the plantscape, and anything we want to use for storage. And so it's lighted, and it's got an electrical outlet. It'd have electrical outlets and all that stuff. And we'd also put the electrical panels probably in there rather than outside, keep them more protected. So we would not need the windscreen with this approach. So we save some money there, and we would not need a separate shed across the parking lot. So we'd save some money there. The cost estimate I did came out, for all intents and purposes, it's pretty much half a dozen, 1/6 of another, which design you want to go with. So cost is not a big issue. We can make them both work. And I will just speak to cost a little bit. I had a meeting with Cindy Neely and with Mary Sims to look at how we might fund this. Cindy has looked at grants, and the likelihood of us getting grant money to support this project doesn't look very good. She's explained that to the Board of Selectmen. And at this point, I don't think we're going to pursue a grant unless something changes. So it falls back on the town to, can we afford to support this project? And we're looking at about a $255,000 budget, control budget. And Mary basically found, was able to find where we could support that out of different capital funds. One of which is the Park and Recreation Capital Maintenance Fund, or I guess it's Capital Improvement Fund. And she asked me if I could get a commitment from you guys for $100,000. I think your budget for this year is like 110 or 111. And she thought that the $100,000 would work. And then the other is coming out of Conservation Trust and Sales Tax Cap. Don't ask me what those are. You have to talk to Mary. But so there's two things I'd like to get accomplished tonight if we could. One is option one or option two, which your recommendation, and then the commitment to allocate $100,000 out of the Parks and Recs Capital Improvement Fund to go towards the shelters for this year. Let me see what else has changed. We got the asbestos and the lead testing done. They both came back, no problem. There's no lead to worry about. There's no asbestos to worry about. We're planning to go to the Board of Selectmen, I think it's on the 8th of March for approval for this project. So once we get a decision from you on which one you want to go with, I'll go ahead and prepare the package for the Board of Selectmen, and then we'll be off and running. The nice thing about, that Cindy pointed out, the nice thing about the town funding the project, it gives us a lot more flexibility in control and scheduling of the work. Like we don't have to wait until June to get started. The budget is it's based on using contract labor. There are opportunities for some volunteer labor in there. There may be some opportunities for either donations, or one thing that I'm looking into is the possibility of a company coming in and removing the shelter, just the wood part of it, for its salvage value. In other words, they take it down, get rid of it, and they get to keep the wood. So the structural engineer I'm working with has a contact that he's looking into for me on that to see if there's an interest there. So that may be a big help to us. Another thought is, if there are people we can make wood available to people if they want it, come and get it type of thing. So we don't have to pay to get it disposed of. So there are things we can work out, but once the project gets approved, then the next step will be to come up with a detailed execution plan, schedule, nail down the control budget, come up with a safety plan so that we make sure that anybody working on the project is protected, as well as the general public. So we'll need, barriers and that kind of stuff. So that's all will be in the works once we get to the next step. So that's my 2 cents worth, and I'd be happy to answer any questions anybody has.
Is this the area that's all open, Bob? Right.
I'm sorry? I didn't understand what you said.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Can you see my screen?
Yes,
Yeah.
So the blue highlighted area, is that all open?
yes. I mean, it's covered with a roof,
But it's open.
but it's open, yes, to walk through. Except, you will have a door, like a 5-foot doorway at the end.
And why do we have a door?
It wouldn't be a door, just an open doorway.
Okay.
And I'm saying we would take that purple thing and just bring it out to line up with the 24-foot mark. And this is typical how the framing would go, where we have 2x4s running vertically and then 2x4s running horizontally, so we have something to nail the siding to. Because we're going to apply all the siding vertically, so it's like what we have now. This doesn't change the park look much from what it is now. And that
Just makes it a little smaller.
it makes it a little bit smaller, not a whole lot. We could keep the monument, the square monument. It could stay where it is. It won't be in the way.
I think we were taking that out.
Yeah,
Well, they are. I mean, that's the plan is the DHM plan was to take it out. But I mean,
Yeah.
if we run into cost issues, that's an option to fix it up and leave it there.
Well, it shouldn't take much to remove. It's just
No.
old stone. It's not historic.
But that's for next year.
yeah. I have a couple questions. So Bob, first of all, wow, thank you. This is amazing amount of work you've done. Thank you so much. And you are appreciated. And forgive my ignorance if I've forgotten some of the answers to these questions. So each booth will have its own power source. Is that correct? Like electrical outlets?
Yeah, the electric design by DHM, I don't see any, well, I do, I see one change to it. The DHM design has a quad, which is basically 2 duplex receptacles in each booth section.
Okay, good.
So there's 4 plugs. It also has 2 strip lights and 1 heater.
Oh.
And the heater and a switch for the heater that goes high or low. They also have a $10,000 controller for the heaters. And best I can tell, I was shocked when I finally found out the price for that thing. The rationale behind this controller, which I think we can delete, is that if you were to turn on all the heaters at the same time, you'd have a lot of inrush. Well, first off, they're electric heaters. They don't have much in terms of inrush at all. The power factor is like 1. So that's not an issue. And there's no reason why we would have to turn all the heaters on at the exact same instant. We could,
Right.
turn this breaker on, turn that breaker on. Yeah. So there's $10,000 there that it's currently in the budget that's going to go away. Unless someone can tell me why they want to do that.
Yeah, right.
It's like a soft start for the heaters, which you don't really need, especially for, what we have.
Okay.
But the electrics would basically, you're going to get new lighting and new outlets and heat.
So right now, I think to turn on the lights in the booths, there's a panel in the back. Is that still how it's going to work, or is
No.
it? No.
There'll be 2 strip lights, one in the front, one in the back. And you would be able to turn them on and I think even dim them, although I'm not sure about the dimming, individually from within the enclosure, within the booth. The way they have it's a battery. You wire up the lights directly to the panel, but they have a wireless remote control that looks like a switch on the wall.
Yeah.
Battery operated, and there'll be 1 for each light.
Okay. Okay. So in that breezeway, in that picture that Steve is showing, I'm just, thinking about, storage for things like, maybe in the bottom, in that purple section on the bottom left, is there any room to put any kind of shelving or hangers in there for brooms or dustpans or something like that? Because I can tell y'all, I have cleaned those booths out many times.
That's for this area, Beth.
Okay.
I
I'm
mean,
just trying to
put 'em
make
there
use
for
of
a while.
all.
You could put them in there if you wanted to, but they'd be nice and accessible until, 2 days after Thursday when they've all disappeared.
Yeah, there's that. Yeah. I
We
didn't
have-
know if,
We have the storage area,
yeah,
plenty of room in there.
I'm trying to make use of that extra space. That's all I'm thinking. So,
What about signage, permanent or temporary signage?
oh, that's a good idea. Like some interpretive kiosk.
Go ahead, and we could put I don't know about track lights, but floodlights.
Yeah.
We can light it, and I mean, there are a lot of things we could do. We could put a couple of benches in there.
Yeah. For just shelter.
Well, yeah, the line for the restroom, in bad weather, we'll be able to be in there.
Yeah, right.
I mean, if we want to put heat, we'll put heat in there too. I mean, it probably
Yeah.
would be a bad idea to put a heater in there.
And so
Yeah, it
right
would be a good
now,
idea. People could stay there if it's cold.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
I like to keep it open as possible.
This would be more shelter.
yeah,
Maybe hang some, signs in there, but
yeah.
I mean, there was talk at one time about a video type terminal thing. I mean, if we were going to do something like that, a video bulletin board type thing, that'd be a great place to put it
yeah.
because it would be protected.
Yeah, that's true. That's a great idea. Okay. And then Steve, you had that kind of side view of the booths. So Bob, right now, when you go into each individual booth, they have a front counter.
Yes.
Will these have like a front counter or a removable front counter that vendors can use to put their stuff on, or do they need to bring a table, or how does that work?
The thoughts were to put a removable front counter in is difficult because you have to support it
Yeah,
and then still be able to get in the booth. So my thoughts were they could bring a table, which, would be on them, or we could have some nice folding tables.
yeah,
I think that's a good idea.
yeah,
And then, they can be put in, they could be used for other things as well. And just, bring them out, put them in when someone wants it, and they could rent those from us.
yeah, yeah, that's great. Okay. So you said that there was storage in each of these booths. I was trying to picture that. Is it?
Well, there's not, right now, there's no storage, but the back wall is, it's like a smooth, all one plane surface.
Yeah,
We could put shelf brackets on there with removable, you could put removable shelves on if you wanted to, you could put permanent shelves. There are things you could do on the back because it's not going to be clapboards or, the lap siding, it'll be flat. So you can do stuff, vendors could come in and hang a poster up, or we could have posters temporarily there during the summer or whatever we wanted. It kind of gives us a blank canvas. If we wanted to go ahead, I thought if we wanted to go ahead and have like a fold up counter in the back, we could do something like that. We don't have any,
yeah,
put anything like that in but the things that, your imagination can come up with that could be done pretty easily because you've got a lot of structure there and you've got a good surface to do stuff on. And I'm kind of leaning towards, once we actually go buy material, kind of leaning towards shiplap siding.
yeah,
If you're familiar with it, you wind up with a small groove, but you don't wind up being able to see through like you can now. It's a little more refined than just vertical boards butted up against each other.
I was sort of thinking, and you guys can laugh at me because I'm kind of an IKEA nerd, but I'm thinking kind of the fold down ironing board, that attaches to the wall and then folds down and makes a shelf, so I'm thinking about.
That's a good idea. I like that idea. Don't be hard on yourself.
Yeah.
Bring your iron.
Yeah. Right.
I think that's something we can add
Later.
after it's built.
Yeah.
Get them built and take a look at it, and then along with the folding tables, how you want to handle it.
Yeah.
I do like that the slab, we are pouring a slab,
Yeah.
same elevation now, so the stone can run back. That's a good idea.
Well,
I do
the
like
slab
that.
would go away. The stone would be set, there would not be a slab. The stone would be set in sand.
Oh, so just bring a sand set back. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I got you. So you're gonna pour pylons and then stone around it. That's great.
Yep.
That's even better.
So I just have one more question and then I'll be quiet. One of the huge challenges, well, just I guess mistakes that we had with the current Strauss Park was not having gutters, and it just eroded away, the ground and the grass, and turned it kind of sometimes into a mud pit.
We've talked about putting in a drain instead of a gutter on the roof because it's 100 feet long. It gets hard to put a gutter up that's going to drain right.
Yeah.
What we talked about is putting a drain in the ground.
Like a French drain with the metal grate over it.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm
That-
cool with that.
We've talked a little bit about that, nothing definite yet, but that would be when we get into a more detailed design, end of things here.
Yeah. I don't want to forget about drainage this time. so-
And one of the things is from the north to the south side, parking lot to 6th Street, I think it's like 1.5 feet difference in elevation.
Wow.
So we're gonna have to figure out how exactly we want to handle that.
Yeah,
Wow, the whole building kind of just slopes there. You just don't notice it.
I know.
Because it's roughly the same, the post height from the bottom of the post to the top of the post is the same on the 6th Street end as it is at the other end.
Wow.
If you look at the grading drawings that DHM did, there's, 1.5 feet, 2 feet difference in elevation. So I suspect the whole shelter kind of tilts down, which that may be fine.
Yeah.
Do that.
Yeah, we noticed that with our ice rink too. So, so the real difference between option 1 and 2 is the relocation of the storage area. And,
Go ahead.
was it something with the breezeway? I can't remember.
Well,
Yeah.
here's option 1. So option 1, we had a booth here and a booth here. This
yeah.
is open through here.
Yeah,
Now option 2, we're gonna lose that. So now we're going back to the same L shape we have now. I personally like option 1 better, because we wanted to have more open. But
yeah.
I'm okay doing it this way as long as this is open underneath this roof area.
Oh, well,
We
okay, which
do
one?
lose all this, we lose part of the park.
Which
Thank you.
one has the breezeway?
Option 2. You mean the covered breezeway, the covered,
Yeah,
option 2 is the covered breezeway.
So we moved this booth closer and lost some of the park. Or option 1, it was more open.
oh, I see. Okay, now I see it.
Option 1 pushes that booth. There's no storage, it's strictly the 2 booths. It pushes it out into where very much into the parking lot.
Mhm.
So we lose about 10 feet in the parking lot
On option 1,
on option 1.
yeah.
And you gain about 13 feet in the plaza area. The booths along Eastland Anderson, they're the same length. I mean, it's still 100 feet. The difference being these booths are 10 feet wide on option 1. And now they'll be 8 feet wide. We have the same number, but they'll be a little bit smaller. And the business promotion was actually, they liked the smaller, they were concerned about the depth of the booth. The width was not so much an issue, and 8 feet seemed fine for a width, from a booth standpoint. And 8 feet is great. I mean, that's a good depth. Is there, I think about 6 feet now, a little less than 6 feet.
And Steve, you like option 1 because it's more open?
Yeah, I mean, we spent a lot of time on it for the design, and I like option 1 because we got rid of that L shape, and we kind of had this section here and a section here, so it's more open. I'm okay with option 2, but I do like option 1 better. Option 2, basically, we're back to the old design, but this is open now, so.
Wouldn't option 1 have created an issue with wind?
Well, that's what the windscreen is there. It did. That black blob sticking.
Oh,
Yeah.
Option 1.
This right here.
Nope.
no, you're on option 2.
Oh,
Go back to option 1.
Option
I'm
1
on
has
this
the
one.
wind tunnel with the windscreen.
Yeah.
That white's not going away.
Okay.
like I say, I'm okay with it.
Some of the thinking from Well, mainly from DRC, the observation that they made is that they really like the change in materials because it's more in keeping with what historically has been there.
Yep.
And they like the L-shape option for the same reason. It's less of a change to the park. That was the rationale that they came up with on that.
Rob, what do you think?
People can't handle change.
Well, you got that right.
That's
This will be
exactly
probably
right.
more palatable to some of the old timers in town.
Got it, right?
I like one best. Just saying.
Yeah. No, let's talk. Let's Tom, Mary, which is your favorite? I'd love to hear from you guys. Maybe.
Yeah, like, I mean, I'll just be good. Like I say, we spent a lot of time on this design. And then all of a sudden, we come in and it's back to the way it was. So
Oh,
I'm okay with it, but it's not what we were trying to achieve from day one, but
My question is, the booth size was bigger in option 1 than option 2?
The booth size in option 1 would be 10 feet wide by 8 feet deep.
And
What is
2
it
there.
now?
In option 2, the booths along Niesel and Anderson will be 8 feet wide by 8 feet deep. And the 2 booths that are by the storage would be 10 feet wide and 8 feet deep. So you get the same number of booths, but you lose 2 feet in each booth on the K&A side.
What size are we now, Bob?
Roughly 8 by 5.5 or 6.
Oh, wow.
They're like 6, the depth is 6 at most.
Oh, wow.
And that includes the counter on the front. So
Wow.
I'll tell you what the other two commissions were unanimous on option 2. But don't let that influence you.
Steve, will you show
Just
me?
remember, we did the command decision on this, not anybody else.
Okay, so option 1 has a breezeway, but it has a screen, right?
It has an open passageway. It's if you look on the renderings,
it's not connected.
it's
I
not.
can probably pull it up.
Yeah,
That's the one you drew the purple on, right?
Well, that's
No,
that's option 2.
Oh,
So option 1, that open area where that windscreen is, doesn't have a roof. Where option 2, it's enclosed. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
yeah.
This is all enclosed now. Looks like it does now. For option 2, this was separate and this was separate, and this was just open back in here.
Hmm.
And this was bigger.
Oh, we're looking at the spreadsheet.
Yep.
What's that?
Well, we're looking at the spreadsheet. I think you forwarded through the screens.
You don't see it now?
Now I
goes-
know.
That's option 1.
This is okay. It might take a second to change.
Yeah.
I'm showing option 2 now, but I'm not sure what you see.
There's option.
What does
Now I
Tom,
see
what does Tom think?
Sounds good to me. I like.
Which one?
I'll see you upstairs then.
Sorry, hang on one second.
I love Zoom.
Sorry, my child was talking to me also.
I like the continuation in option 2, where it's continuous, where option 1 looks broken up to me. And maybe it's just because it's a bird's eye view of it.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's what we were trying to do. But like I say,
So-
I'm okay with option 2. I just prefer option 1.
Steve, do you have the sketch in there that's like a rendering that shows option 2? It's
Should
green.
be on now, no?
No. It's like a 3D or. Like
I don't know if it's in here or not. Was it in that packet?
I don't remember. No,
or Bob, did you see that in the DHM packet that we got from the beginning? Is that what you're talking about?
no, it was something I put together on a program that I have that
should be.
I know I sent it out earlier to somebody. To
I'm gonna
certain,
see if it's part of this whole thing. Doesn't
no,
look like.
that's you're going the wrong direction there. That thing,
All right.
that's the environmental report that all we need to know is, no lead and no asbestos. We're good to go.
Yeah, that was very comforting.
Yeah, and they even tested the concrete. He took some concrete samples, just says he's never found it in concrete, but he's supposed to test for it. So,
That's awesome. Yeah. I don't see it in here in our packet, Steve.
okay, it probably isn't. I don't know if maybe I can share my screen. I don't know.
Yeah, I can get out of mine.
I've never done this, so let me try it. See what happens. If all your computers blow up,
No, it'll be fine.
let me,
So
do
you
I
just
hit
go ahead
the
and share your-
screen button first and then go?
Yeah, get your screen up. What you
Get
want to
your-
show.
Yeah,
and then click on this.
Let me, I gotta go to.
I just got through 2 weeks of Zoom meetings, so I'm getting a little better at it.
I mean, I do the DRC Zoom meeting every, twice a month, but that's different. Where do I want to go here? I think I want to go to my desktop.
Rob, I love your glasses.
Well, I got it up now. How do I do this?
Click share screen and then select the actual view.
Bob, can I ask you a question while you're doing that?
Sure.
This is Anshul. When you submitted that report or got those people to do the report, the environmental thing, where was the funding for that? You didn't have to do that out of pocket, did you?
No. The town paid for that.
Okay, good. That's all I wanted to know.
Good
Okay.
question.
I can see Beth.
Hmm.
Oh, maybe. Oh, okay. There we go.
I have the renderings up. I can share.
Yeah, because I don't know how to do this. It's not working.
What do you, Steve, do you have the original drawings that Bob gave us?
No, this is
Probably
the
something I handed out at the special meeting that we had. It probably.
this is how we had it kind of designed. We had it'll come up in a second.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's before we sloped the shelter
The other way,
out of the back.
but see how it's
And
two,
then-
it's
yeah.
separate. And you walk around here.
And this,
Yep.
yeah, the right back in around the corner there is where the restroom is. So
Right.
basically
Yeah.
the
So
shelter
we're
that's
taking this and we're moving it,
would move forward. Yeah,
moving it forward now and going back, doing it here.
would attach, and then you'd have the corridor way through there. And with the 5 or 6 foot wide opening into the parking lot on the parking lot side, you'd be able to see right through that. So I mean, it's not going to look like it looks now, where it's closed up and dark down there. You're going to have some light coming through there.
Now, did you have something you sent us?
I had at some point, and I may have just handed it out at the first meeting we had over at the Ganello.
brewery.
Yeah, that may be where it is, where I had it out. Ooh, I could send it to you, Steve.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I have it here. Draft budget, asbestos.
It would be back toward the front probably.
Nope.
Okay, it probably wasn't in the package I sent out. So you just have to use your imagination.
No problem. So we just had the artistic rendering of the one that Steve showed us, right? We didn't
Let's see if
get.
I have something else. Action. Let me know if it comes up.
I will.
Not yet.
No,
Huh.
well, this is the option one.
Well, yeah, you should see the other one should come up.
But we didn't have an artistic rendering of option two, right? That showed the breezeway.
No, I can send that to all of you after the meeting. It's nothing
I'm
that,
gonna try this again. Let me know if this comes up. This was the final plan.
Yeah, this looks like the one
This was the final one.
with the breezeway, but no covered roof, right?
Yeah, we had this like this, and this here, and this was open. What we're doing now is removing this.
there.
This will be a storage kind of, right, Bob? So this will move
Yeah, it'll be
in, and then
wider.
we're gonna
That-
make an L shape with the storage back here.
That building there is like 10 feet wide and 20 feet long. The new building will be like 24 feet long and 17 feet wide. So it'll move forward roughly to where booth 10 is on the, it'll connect to there. and
Like
then-
that, or?
It would basically make solidify.
Except it'll extend another 7 feet into the parking lot.
Hmm.
So, move the right hand there, 7 feet deeper into the parking lot.
This goes back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Too much?
no, it didn't move.
Didn't move.
Well, you gotta give it time.
There you go.
Oh,
Yeah, that's about right. And I don't think it'll be quite as long as it won't be quite as, I mean, it could be, we could make it longer if we wanted to. It'd be about like that.
yeah.
Now, is this like this
No.
or square?
I mean, well, we could take that right-hand corner and latch it up with the the back of the, I mean, that, we can do whatever we want back there.
Okay.
Hmm.
Like I say, because this is gonna be open now, I mean, we are trying to save a little money. I think that's fine. The stone's still, the design's still there. We're still doing all the stone inside the booths. I think we move forward this way. But that's me.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
Looks pretty good.
I'm okay with it. Anshel?
Well, is this one supposed to be 1 or 2? The
This
one
is
that
2.
Bob showed us before. This is 2?
Yeah.
This is, yeah.
You know, it's like when you go to the eye doctor and they go 1 or 2, and you're like, just lying because you don't know really which one's better. So I don't know. I like 1, whatever 1 was, but I don't know if this is 1 or 2. So this is 2.
Yeah.
This is 2.
One has separate. you
So
know,
what's happening is,
one has 2 shelters. Option 2 has 1 shelter.
Yeah. So Anshel, right there, option 1 is separated and option 2 it has a cover
Yeah.
or makes the L.
Option 2 right there, yeah. With the,
Okay. I like this one.
And honestly, with the breeze we get, a breezeway might not be a good idea, you know?
when you say a breezeway, what are you talking about?
Like when we have, like when they're not connected and making the L, like the amount of wind that might come through,
Exactly. It'll
you know?
pull everything apart.
And
Yeah.
the other thought I had with the L, particularly if we square that corner off rather than have it step in, we could put a barn door.
we could go
Right.
like this too.
So that if we wanted to close that off or reduce the opening, we could do that.
That's kind of an awesome idea.
Things which would be easy enough to do.
So that's option 2.
Yeah, we could even, I mean, we could do anything we want really. I was gonna bring that left-hand edge out so that it's a square corner.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, like this?
Yep,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine too.
Yeah.
and then that gives us room that where we could slide the barn door toward 511 Rose.
The fact that this is a nice, it's covered, but you know, it's still open. So it doesn't feel like it's closed in L. I think we're fine. I think that's fine.
Yep.
We have a big storage area now and back.
I think to me, that's the real selling point with this is it's right in the park. So it's easy to get stuff in and out.
Yep.
You can, I mean, it's gonna have light in there if we want to throw a couple, I mean, you could use it for Parks and Recs meeting room. I don't care. I mean, it gives you a lot of plus because it'll have a solid, that would have a concrete floor, obviously.
Yeah. You can store all those tables we're going to rent out for revenue.
Right, store tables, I mean, you've got, if you buy a bunch of plants you want to plant or something, you got a place to store them out of the weather for, till next weekend. I mean, it opens up a lot of possibilities and it's, got a door with a lock on it so you can, lock it off and
Keep supply. We can keep all those 9,000 cuts we have for tree lighting.
I don't know if we got enough room there. We have to double it.
Beth's the expert on tree lighting
You're
So
right.
do we
or
need,
house lighting.
do we need to do an official vote on going with option 1, option 2, I mean?
I think so.
Yeah.
All right, so all in favor of going to option 2?
Aye.
I,
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, I'm gonna need someone to make the motion.
I just thought of that before I said it.
Yeah. I'll
Rob.
motion.
Okay, Beth,
I second the motion.
is that Tom?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
All right, all in favor of going with option 2 as kind of like as drawn right here. I could save this too.
Yeah.
All in
Aye.
favor?
Aye.
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 All right, option 2 is approved. Now I make a motion of allocating $100,000 from Parks and Rec to help fund this.
So moved.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right.
Aye.
Allocating 100,000 is approved.
Well, thank you all very much. The other two
Thank you, Bob.
committees were also unanimous. So we can go to the Board of Selectmen saying that the 3 principal committees involved in this are all in agreement and that we found the necessary funding and we're ready to move the project forward. And Ancho, I want to assure you that we will have a safety plan. I've got one.
Well, it's all about risk management.
What's that?
It's all about risk management. And
That's all.
here's,
It's all
and I
part-
understand what you're saying, and I'm going to let you finish in a second, but it's about, I've done research on the legality of it. Because bottom line is we are covered under the Volunteer Protection Act, and then the state has something, but that still doesn't keep someone from suing us individually. So I've upgraded, I've put more on my house for more money. I don't want anybody taking my house. But bottom line is they can do that. And I don't want to see anybody get hurt.
And I think that's something that I would want to discuss with our town attorney as to how we would
Yes,
protect the people involved. Because the town
yes.
does have some kind of insurance. I don't know the details, but there's certainly a concern. What my thoughts were on, we've got money to buy like hard hats. And I'm assuming, we'd never have probably more than 10 volunteers at a time doing anything. I just don't, any more than that, we're going to be tripping over each other.
Right.
Hard hats, safety glasses, safety gloves, safety vests. I would expect people to have appropriate footwear. I don't see that we
No
need.
flip flops.
Yeah, I don't know that we need steel-toed shoes. or
Right.
not. A lot
But
of-
as long as someone is making an effort and then like someone comes up from wherever and says, I want to help, but they don't have the right gear and then they get conked on the head, the liability shifts to us.
Yeah, they wouldn't be allowed to help if they're not have proper PPE. And before we would.
I'll be the safety
would
police.
always- Before we start work, you'd always have a little safety meeting that goes over.
Safety monitor.
Here's what we're going to
Okay.
do, here's what the risks are, here's how you're protected. And,
Well, thank you. Yeah, and if you could run any of this by the city attorney or whoever, I
Oh, yeah.
appreciate that because I know that they say that somebody can't sue us, that we have sovereign immunity, but that doesn't mean that someone's not going to try. And you
Right.
still have to get an attorney and fight it. So I appreciate you saying that. Thank you, Bob.
But, and I appreciate you for bringing it up because it puts it more forward in my mind that we need to really pay attention to this. And I really do think it's an excellent opportunity to bring the town together.
Yeah.
I think so too.
I will start working on how we get this done because it looks like it's going to go forward. So,
I feel like
Yay.
it's a super Georgetowny thing too, also to have, people help out, it's
Yeah.
like there will be people to help out.
yep.
Foster's Place.
Yes.
Right.
I've heard that mentioned. I wasn't around for Foster's Place, but I know Mark Reynolds has mentioned that to me a couple times that worked out quite well, I guess.
Yeah, I was there. I unsafely wielded power tools. Just kidding. But
I suggest
2
2 coats of stain on everything before it goes up.
yeah,
Great volunteer project, and I hate the paint.
Yeah,
But I mean, that's an opportunity we get, I mean, it doesn't require any real special skills, and
right.
it's a great thing. And it is very, it's very labor intensive.
Yeah.
And we have
Yeah, that's-
construction people in town that can handle some of the heavier duty stuff, and then, we'll have contractors do the other stuff.
Right on. That's awesome. Thank
And
you. Thank you. Thank you.
Our
Yeah,
goal
thanks, Bob.
November, early to mid-November, we're done and ready to roll for Christmas market.
Great.
Well, thank you all so much for putting your time in, especially on a holiday, and I really do appreciate it, and I'm sure the town appreciates it.
Sure. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you for your work too.
Yeah, we appreciate you. Thank you.
You. I'm gonna say goodbye.
Okay.
That's fine. We'll finish up our meeting. I don't have the budget attached to this.
It's the very last page.
No, it's not on here. It must be on the, might be on
Oh.
the last month's.
Oh, yeah. I don't have a lot of comment on the budget, so unless
Yeah, I
somebody
don't
else
either.
does.
What I do want to do is make, do we need to meet in 10 days again?
Is that when
Uh,
we're supposed to have this approved in 10 days?
No, just our next meeting happens to happen.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, in 10 days. Okay.
days.
In 10
Forgot.
days? I don't think we
Um,
need to meet in 10 days, but
We could do it just to put us back on schedule.
Yeah, I agree.
We should start talking about what we're gonna do with some of our dollars in our regular budget, not the capital that we just talked to Bob about, but the other dollars.
okay, well, let's plan on meeting in 10 days again. And
Okay.
if there's anything special you want to talk about, send me an email and I'll add it to the agenda.
Cool.
Okay,
Should be an easy meeting, so it might be good for stuff like that. If anybody has anything weird to bring up.
Maybe we can
Or
start
if-
meeting in person soon.
oh, please,
Yeah, let's do that.
yes.
Unless anybody super objects, then they could always zoom in too. We could do
No!
Whoa,
Sorry.
whoa. Jesus.
both. No, we
Town
can all
hall,
do it, but if somebody was
town hall hasn't
uncomfortable-
opened their building for meetings. So
Oh, okay.
Not yet.
that's them.
Darn it. Okay,
Maybe we could
Let's get
all,
on with this.
would it be wrong for us to meet everybody who wants to meet up somewhere and then people who are uncomfortable could zoom in?
Yeah, but I can't hear when we meet somewhere. Like when we went to the brewery, I couldn't hear shit.
Yeah, we'll just
Fair
we'll just
enough.
continue on Zoom until,
yeah.
I'm not gonna
But-
make any more comments.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
what I would ask everybody to do, and I'll email it to you, is I'll send you the narrative that we submitted with the budget request that says, hey, here's some ideas of where we were going to spend some of our funding, like, any improvements in the park that are needed,
That's a good idea.
I can't remember the last time we stained Foster's place, stuff like that. Or do we need
Okay,
a park bench somewhere or something. I just want people to think about those kind of things. And, if you've got some ideas, just print a page off Google and bring it with, or, have it ready to show on screen or something and just talk about ideas.
Statues of the selectmen in all the parks.
Oh my God. You're just asking for vandalism.
Ooh, now it sounds like a good idea.
No.
I'll be the first one to tag it.
This is being recorded.
Yeah, I know, right?
Whoever's less vandalized gets to stay in.
Yeah. That is hilarious. Right on.
All right,
All right.
everyone. That was productive meeting. Thank you.
That was really good. I'll motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, motion adjourned. Thank you. See you in 10 days.
Okay, bye.
Good night.